My guest today is Superintendent Todd Bowling. Todd, welcome back to SuperChat.
Good morning, Gary. How are you?
I'm just fine, sir. Well, I suppose if we are all sheltered and free of virus, we're fine. That's kind of the order of the day for each and every one of us. You know, Todd, for the benefit of your stakeholders, I was hoping that you might be able to provide me kind of a summary review of just how and when you began taking the necessary actions to respond to the COVID-19 virus pandemic. And I certainly include in your decision-making team yourself, your administrators, your staff, and the school board members. Can you summarize the steps and how this all kind of unfolded?
I mean, it's been a long road. Even though it's only been a month, it seems like a much longer road. End of February, beginning of March, our district nurse started receiving some information on how COVID-19 would start to infiltrate the U.S. and how it would get into schools. And so a lot of things were passed around about how to go about your cleaning of classrooms, what to monitor for students and staff, but nobody had any idea whatsoever of what it would lead to. I mean, it originally started talking about if somebody in your district or the county in which you live contracted COVID-19, that they would recommend a 14-day closing period. So then the questions came out. So let's say you find somebody and close your buildings for 14 days, and then somebody else comes down with it. Was the recommendation another 14 days? So all of that has continued to go on. You can now see through the statistics and the data of what it's become. The good thing that happened was the governor did close the schools for a 2-week period. And then as of yesterday, he did extend the closing of schools to May 1st. So this has taken a lot of collaboration on behalf of our building principals, our administrative cabinet team here at AO, and our Board of Education to establish what we need to do in order to meet the demands of our students, especially when they're at home. And then principals going back to their teachers and trying to work with them on what does remote learning look like and so on and so forth. So it's been every day, 7 days a week, questions coming up on Saturday and Sunday. I know people realize that our staff works hard, and during the school year, they kind of think it's only Monday through Friday. But with this, they are constantly reaching out to their kids 24/7. And they're doing 7 days a week. So you got to answer emails, you got to answer texts, you got to answer phone calls Saturday and Sunday. It's just been a lot of collaboration, and I couldn't be happier to do it with such a group of strong individuals as we have with the staff at Northwest Local Schools. So it continues to be a lot of work.
Yeah. It helps to have a great team. There's no question about it. Well, you know, the governor has issued progressively more and more declarations restricting citizens around the state of Ohio. From a school district's perspective, how have these orders from the governor impacted your school district students, families, staff? Have there been any surprises?
There's always surprises, but what I worry about for our families is the economic hit they're taking. I mean, businesses have been shut down. Some of our parents work 1, 2, and 3 jobs to help their family get through and provide. It takes a toll on you. And then you put on top of that now your kids are at home. And then at first there were some daycares that were open, but now the governor's closed the daycares. And I fully understand. And they're now open for only essential workers. But we've started participating in what we're calling remote learning. And this means that students are learning from home. We're using Google Classroom for the majority of our students. We were lucky enough prior to this hitting that we are a 1-to-1 district in terms of Chromebooks for our students. So we made the decision right away to have our Chromebooks available to our students if they wanted them. So to date, we've passed out around 4,000 Chromebooks. Students are taking them home, starting to log in, starting to get on Google Classroom. We have a lot of cool stuff that's going on between our parents and our students and our teachers and the cooperation that's going on with learning. So it's been a huge change, but I am 100% behind everything the governor has done. We truly appreciate the press conferences every day at 2 o'clock. Gives us a lot of guidance. He's bringing in the national perspective and then how it relates to Ohio and our state and how personal it is for us. So just trying to follow along with all his guidelines and doing our best.
There are some students within your enrolled student population. You talked about the economic impact, the financial impact that all of this has had on some families, and there's no question about that. I think it's pretty widespread at not just your district by any means. But there are students in your student population that depend on your school's meal services on a regular basis. So how have you and the community stepped up to meet the nutritional needs of these students?
Yeah, this has been an unbelievable process. And you talk about a group of individuals coming together and getting it done. That's what our staff has done. And I also want to let our stakeholders know that we do appreciate that some of you have volunteered and asked how you can help in any way. But also remember, we are trying to do our best to make sure that we are keeping a common staff around to assist with everything we're doing, and that we want to make sure that they are in practicing social distancing. They are locking down and not out and visiting places, because preparing the food and knowing that it can live on some materials for 72 hours is huge. But our first time of distributing the food was phenomenal. We had all buses in our district loaded up. We visited all 9,000 students' residents by putting bus stops together, whether you're a walker or rider, and delivering food. That day we did that. About 33 to 40% of the folks actually showed up at the bus stops to get the food. And a lot of that was predetermined by they had work, they had nobody that could be there, so on and so forth, because that was early on. We're going to change it up and do it a little differently, because if we continue to do a delivery, we have to track who we deliver to, and we can only feed our kids. So we are changing the process in that we are doing food delivery. And so the first time we did it on the buses, we gave out 10 days worth of food. So this Thursday, it's time to give out our next round of food. So April 2nd from 11 to 1 at Struble Elementary, Taylor Elementary, and Pleasant Run Elementary, we will be passing out food from 11 to 1. Cars pull up, roll down their window, we walk it out, no need to get out of the car, and hand it over to anybody in the car who is 18 years or younger. And the good thing about this is we have been told by state and federal government that we can feed all students who live in our district. That means kids who attend parochial schools, private schools, our own kids, maybe somebody in a district next to us that's closer to come to our school, they can come and pick up food. So we are getting reimbursed through the state and through the federal government. I applaud our cafeteria workers who are packing the meals up, who are getting them ready for delivery. And it's not just them, it's the entire district working together. But we are being very careful that we keep our social distance and attack. When we do that, we only want 6 to 8 people delivering the food, and we've got that set up. Even when they're together, they are to be separate and apart and doing their best to stay healthy, because this will not just be for April 2nd. We do go on spring break starting next Monday through the 14th. So we will not have food pickup during that time. But as soon as we get back, that next week, we will start food pickup again. We hope to continue this, and will continue this through the summer in some form or fashion, as directed by our governor.
Well, you've had many cancellations, obviously, of events and activities in both the academic and extracurricular categories. Is there anything that is left on the schedule that is planned to happen? I mean, this has to have been like topsy-turvy, right?
No, it's been absolutely crazy, because it's the unknown. I mean, Ohio High School Athletic Association has canceled spring sports. They are not allowing any gatherings for weightlifting or any lifting for any of the other sports. They are pushing to follow the governor's guidelines. And then you bring into things like graduation, prom, so on and so forth. So right now, the schools are closed till May 1st. I honestly don't think things are going to change May 1st. I think he's going to extend it again, because even closing May 1st, that leaves us maybe 4 or 5 days for our seniors and another 14 days for all our other students. It's just going to be difficult to do anything. So we don't have the answers that folks are looking for right now. I can tell you it doesn't look like we would have graduation, because the places we use are not open. They have closed their facilities. They have canceled college graduations. It's just going to be different and unique. But I can promise our stakeholders that we will listen to what other school districts are doing and ideas they have. But right now, we don't know what's happening. We've been told a May 1st guideline. So we are assuming that Monday, May 4th, we can come back. But again, the way things are going, when they're saying the peak is hitting and listening to the governor yesterday, I'm not sure that the return is a possibility. Now, I don't know that for sure, but it's going to be very difficult. So right now, everything's on hold. Once we get official notification of what's happening to the school year, then we will get things out. We've been trying to communicate with our public. This is one tool and mechanism we're using, so hopefully folks can share this and they can find out what's going on in our district.
This has all been a very, very fluid situation, day to day, actually. Well, how important has technology-based remote e-learning been to the goal of maintaining some continuity for student instruction?
Remote learning or e-learning, it's basically new to all of us. Now, that's not to say we didn't have Google Classroom as an option for our students as the school year went on. We did. We have students who can go home at night when we were in school and check their assignments and see what notes were given out for the day. But it's unique in that it's self-paced. So students' motivation is the most difficult thing. That's the value of teachers in a classroom. Our teachers get to know our students. They get to know them on a personal basis, so they know what triggers they have. They know how to motivate them to learn. It's a little different when there's internet in between you and your student. So some of our teachers are using Zoom Classroom, which I've seen videos of teachers doing read alouds with books to their students who log in to the Zoom. You basically send out a calendar invitation. You click on the link. It hooks you up with your classmates. This has worked tremendously. A little different with our older kids in middle school and high school, trying to get them motivated to get on. So teachers are calling, teachers are emailing, teachers are doing everything they can to motivate our students. But it's unique and it's different in that there's more self-motivation needed from the students for this. And this is where our parents are saying they play a very important role in this because they are now the teachers trying to motivate their kids at home. So that aspect's been vastly different.
Well, I think it is more than fair to say that schools typically operate on a set plan each and every school year. No one saw this pandemic coming. It all happened quite fast. So where does all of this disruption leave you as a school district? I know this is a tough subject to address because it's like anybody's guess in many regards, but do you have plans in place for various scenarios?
Yes. I mean, like I said, we are meeting daily. Staff is having grade level Zoom meetings. We're having principal Zoom meetings. Principals are meeting with their staff. It's ongoing. And right now, our plan is through May 1st. So how do we make the best out of our learning day and our remote learning for our kids? And then how do we also assist our teachers? And it's by providing them resources, activities, different websites they can use to motivate their kids, but it's always ongoing. We are ready to go whether school comes back on May 4th or whether we're told that school's not coming back this year. What we know is that we have to plan, and we also need some plans in place for June or July that kids can continue to learn, because no matter if we come back May 4th or not, we've lost a lot of learning from when this started up through then. So our job is to provide the best opportunities for our students, make sure that we have plans in place for however long this lasts, because no one knows. And the other big part that is our responsibility is talk to them and preach to our kids and our parents and our families about being safe, do the social distancing, following the guidelines that are out there. But it's ongoing, and it's something we talk about every day. We are collaborating with other school districts. We have weekly superintendent meetings that we are talking. Our treasurers have meetings, our curriculum directors, our HR department, and our principals. So it's constant communication and it's constant planning.
I do have a final question for you, Todd. Do you think that between the governor's declarations and the Department of Education that in one form or another, graduating seniors will receive a diploma this year?
Yeah, the House Bill 197 is getting ready to be rolled out. There's already been some professional meetings on it, but basically it gives the district and the high school principals the authority to declare graduates. So we are working with our seniors who are some credit deficient and some who are on task. We're looking at all the options we can. But we have no reason to doubt that we will work as hard as we always do. We've improved our graduation rate for our seniors every year, and we think it'll be even higher this year. So we have plans in place. We are communicating with our seniors what they need in order to graduate, and so that is an ongoing conversation.
Well, obviously, this past month has caused a huge shock to all of our routines, requiring many restrictions and sacrifices. But together, we will get through all of this. There are thousands of very smart people working on solutions to get us back on track. I am pleased that our listeners have hung in with us and listened in today to gather all this information up and to hear their superintendent. Todd, I want to thank you for joining me today here on SuperChat.
Thanks, Gary. We always appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and our stakeholders, and appreciate the format you provide for us to get this out. So thank you.
You're quite welcome. Be well.